came, but even critics have claimed that it was shit in its day. Some films are shit and shit they will stay, but some get better over time because of Nicolas Cage. So which film stays shit forever? And which one's got a little bit better? Second chance movies. No Paul Blutts were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Welcome to Second Chance Movies, the podcast where we rewatch movies and decide if they deserve a second chance.
I'm Joe Harper, your host who loves rewatching movies and hunting for toys.
And I'm Jessica Quaz, your host who's a one and done kind of movie viewer who hates to admit I have shopped during Black Friday.
Shame on you.
And today we are giving a second chance to Jingle All The Way.
Yay! All right, so for this one, obvious, it's a Christmas movie. It's December. We're in the spirit of Christmas right now, so we're going to give you some Christmas movies with this one in particular. This one's near and dear to my heart. What about you?
Yeah, I used to watch it when I was a kid. I hadn't seen it since I was really young. And I remember as a kid, I thought this was so fun. I really enjoyed it. And then come to find out, a few decades later, people hated this movie.
It shocked me to hear on Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter is 17%. The audience score is 38%. And that is so insane to me. It's like for me, this is a Christmas movie I watch yearly. So we're going to give our thoughts on it. So spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about the movie Jingle All The Way from 1996, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and little Jake Lloyd.
Before George Lucas ruined his life.
Poor little guy. For those of you who do not remember, I'm going to give you a little synopsis of this movie. A father vows to get his son an action figure for Christmas. However, every store is sold out of them, and he must travel all over town and compete with everybody else in order to find one.
So the first part is good. The travel all over town and compete with everybody else kind of, I think, dismisses what he really goes through to find this toy.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot more than that.
He essentially he's been in a very, I don't want to say neglectful, but just
dismissive dad. Not fulfilling his role as a husband or father.
Yeah, I mean, he's very concentrated on work, on his favorite customers. And he waited to the last minute to get his kid the Christmas present his kid wanted, like the ultimate present all the kids are wanting. And so he spends Christmas Eve day going all over town trying to hunt one down. And it is stressful.
Things get crazy.
Do you remember your first time with this movie?
I don't, because I was so young.
Why would I remember this?
Before memories were forming. I know I watched it like back in the earlier years of my life.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume around Christmas time. And I do remember like parts of the movie, like certain shots. You know how when you watch something when you're really young, like certain things might stick around. And this is one of those movies where certain images or like lines like stuck, but the entire experience did not, because my brain just wasn't there yet. Of course, it was kid. There's a lot of bright colors and action moments. There's a lot of movement. So of course, like as a young kid, I enjoyed it. And then honestly, like I could not tell you the last time I watched it up until now. Like I think it had been since the 90s that I actually watched it.
One of my favorite hobbies is buying and collecting toys, action figures. And so this movie, right up my alley. I am roughly Jake Lloyd's age. When it came out, I was roughly that little, maybe like a year or two older than him. Just like, yeah, this is a cool movie. I don't remember if I saw it in the theaters. I don't remember if this is one I owned. Maybe it was. I don't know. I know I watched it pretty frequently. And then more so, I introduced this to my wife. I don't think she had ever seen it we did. I was like, what? We're gonna watch this every Christmas, and she's like, okay, we, if we must. She doesn't mind. She likes it. It's not one of her like go-to Christmas movies, so it's not like a must for her, but it's a must for me. So it's
Okay.
a have to for her. All right, I want to hear what those critics had to say because I'm so shocked that it's that low. Because like, is it goofy? Yeah, it's a goofy Christmas movie. But you know what? Who cares? What do we? Why are we so upset by this? Kevin Carr of 7M Pictures. Home Alone, this is not. But for a family Christmas movie, it's surprisingly fun. Just bringing up, like, one of those classics? It's not a classic, but it was all right.
Like, yeah, it'll do. It'll do.
I think it's a classic. It's definitely a classic in my heart. Is it Home Alone? No.
No.
Home Alone is, I think Home Alone is definitely one of the top 5 Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Without
I
a
think
doubt.
it's
I think on
evolved,
everyone's
yeah.
list. Everyone
Yeah.
can have that list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good. I'm glad
Yeah.
we're all on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And hey, this isn't that. And that's fine.
Andy Seller of USA Today. Here's Arnie, of all people, playing a bedraggled suburbanite, and his perversely amusing casting boosts a crass, sometimes nasty, and finally funny celebration of holiday mass merchandising and greed.
I will say there is a lot of celebrating like capitalism and purchasing and like, yeah, I will agree with that part. I would not call this movie nasty though, like crass and nasty.
Yeah, it's not crude.
I don't see that. No.
Oh,
All right,
man.
Stacey Lane Wilson from Fantastica Daily wrote, deserved better reviews than it got when it came out. She
Agreed.
wrote that in 2002. So
Oh, she was late to the game.
she was late to the game. I agree. I think wow, really harsh. Really harsh. People seem to be really angry. Let's find out why. Let's find out why people just need to shit on this movie. Heather Borner with Common Sense Media wrote, Arnold terminates the holiday spirit.
How rude. C- on the pun. No, he just enhanced our holiday spirit with joy. Arnold brings nothing but energy to a project.
He really does. He really goes in with like his all.
I don't like this review.
Oh no.
Watching Arnold Schwarzenegger take a stab at lighthearted comedy is often like watching a whale try to maintain its balance on a gymnastics beam. Matt, you couldn't be more wrong.
Wow. What? So Arnold's not supposed to have a good time ever?
Arnold, oh my God. Arnold has brought us. Oh my God, I have to get my composure here.
Yeah, you're triggered.
Arnold has brought us Kindergarten Cop, Twins, True Lie, Our Last Action Hero, Batman and Robin. So many great comedies in the last ever.
Say what you will about the man, I think that he always seems like he's down to just have fun. Ryan Cracknell from Movie Views wrote, while there's some genuine laughs and warm sentimentality to be had, Brian Levin's Jingle All The Way represents everything that's bad with Christmas. Whoa, Ryan.
I mean, is he talking about the bad things like buying toys for everyone?
Well, maybe buying toys like capitalism and absentee parent. I don't know. I didn't really feel that way. Mark Savlov from the Austin Chronicle wrote, even the Grinch wouldn't like this one. Which doesn't make any sense because like the Grinch's whole thing is that he doesn't like things. So like, he wouldn't like this. It's very like of the MO of the Grinch.
So it's a good movie because the Grinch doesn't like it?
Maybe because it's like holiday cheer, so he doesn't like things. So
it's very confusing comment.
Mark was really trying to go for something here, and I think he just dropped the ball. We also had Hollywood's sassiest bitch coming in, giving us his take on Jingle All the Way. Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times said, I liked a lot of the movie, which is general and has a lot of energy. I was sort of depressed by its relentlessly materialistic view of Christmas and by the choice to go with action and mild violence over dialogue and plot.
Ugh. I can't disagree with his view, like that it is the contents of the movie, but it doesn't bother me. I think it's fun. Also, we as America have turned Christmas materialistic.
Yeah. I mean, it's already there. It's
Have an
been
entire
there.
holiday called Black Friday, where all we do is buy things at discounted. There's definitely air quotes for you audio listeners. Discounted prices. They're not that discounted. There's definitely lower prices all year round. You just stumbled on this day.
It's just such a weird tradition to, after one holiday, get up in the middle of the night and get like a TV for like $100 less than normal. And it's all usually aimed for like Christmas gifts that I'm gonna give people. So like,
Right,
yeah, it's not the movie that's like materialistic view of Christmas. It's already there. This is like one of the very few movies that I can think of that actually spends time about that specifically. I can't think of another movie that does that.
All right. Well, after this X amount of time watching it, what are your thoughts this time?
So this was my first time watching it as like an adult. Truly, like I don't think I've
Okay.
watched it since the 90s.
Wow.
So this was like a really
Is this
interesting walk down memory lane, if you will.
Is this the time you hated it?
I would not say I hated it as an adult. No, I would say there's certain things there that I definitely didn't pick up on as a kid that kind of makes, if you, depending on how deep you look into it, can make the whole experience like a little dark, like a little toxic. Just
Whatever.
like, I mean, just the idea that like he literally like misses his son's everything. Like the movie starts with him missing his son's karate showcase. The kid feels terrible about it.
I'm gonna be on his side for a second. He didn't mean to miss it. He left and got stuck in traffic.
Sure, but he left late.
Not that late, but he left late. You're right. He did leave late.
Like he's an absent dad, and he's not a good husband either. Like he's just not.
I will say, whatever job he has, he's providing.
They have a wonderful house, and they seem very privileged,
space.
like very in a good spot. So it's also like the struggles of a privileged upper middle class family. So it's a little like, you're fine. What makes it odd is more of the dynamics between Rita Wilson and him, because she seems like she's ready to leave his ass and like straight divorce him because he's like not emotionally available for her and their child. There are many times in which it feels like if he does not get this toy, he will lose his family. Like his family depends on this present. And that's a little toxic, I would say. So entertaining to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger literally beat the shit out of like so many different Santas of all shapes and sizes.
What's really ridiculous is that he just pulls Jim Belushi's fake beard back and it hits him in the face and he does a complete like barrel roll head to toe. So dumb that he flops back. But again, iconic in my brain imagery. Like I boop, boop, boop. Vern Troyer gets like, sucker punched and he just flies across.
Flies.
It's fun seeing him I was like, oh shit, it's Vern Troyer.
Yeah. That scene probably pissed a lot of people off for some reason because it's so wild and bonkers and like violent. But yeah,
that's a fun scene.
It's a wild, fun scene. Yeah.
Comedian Sinbad is in this movie.
He sure is.
Man, is he just a scene stealer. He's a good one.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch.
He plays another father who is kind of absentee as well, trying to get his son, Turbo Man.
Sinbad's character is pretty unhinged, I will say.
Yeah.
The guy's really
He's a
wild. Really wild. The most like insane moment of this movie, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is heavily revolved around Sinbad. So at some point, the two men are really defeated. They've tried so much, they haven't gotten these toys. They're like really bummed out about it. They're like sitting at a diner talking about how like, oh man, this really sucks. Like our sons aren't gonna get the toy. And Sinbad has this like insane story where and it like kind of like monologue moment where he attributes all of his life failures to his dad not getting him a toy as a kid. And he literally says that like some CEO grew up in our neighborhood and we both wanted this toy for Christmas and he got it and I didn't and he became a millionaire and since I didn't get the toy I'm a loser. And it was like, oh my god, like that's an insane take. This guy needs therapy. He's got a lot of issues. And then Arnold, like that inspires Arnold that like if he does not get the Turbo Man doll, like his son will become like this guy and he can't have that. Like he's got to get the toy.
But I do love this shot when he looks back and instead of Sinbad sitting there, it's Jake Lloyd sitting in Sinbad's like mailman outfit. Here's to you, Dad, and like has a flask and drinks it. Oh, I love that so much. He's got the floppy ears on the hat. It's so great. I really liked Sinbad's monologue. It was sweet. It's really fucking crazy when you think about it. Like, yeah, that I didn't get this toy, so I'm fucking worthless now. But like, I liked it. He had so much passion. Like, I fucking wanted it so much. I loved it. Pop quiz, Jessica. Do you remember the name of the toy?
That Sinbad wanted? I sure don't.
Johnny 7 OMA gun.
Johnny 7 OMA gun?
One man army.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. I just remembered thinking, wow, this is toxic.
Pop quiz question number 2.
Oh, okay.
Who is the pink sidekick character that Turbo Man has?
Oh, we just said it.
We sure did.
Before we were recording. Booster?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one thing that I enjoyed was just watching Arnold fuck shit up. Like this man is destroying things, ruining people's days, pushing people, smacking people, doing all sorts of wild things. And it is really fun. At one point, he literally breaks into his neighbor's house, tries to steal his kids' Turbo Man, and almost burns their entire house down. Like, he is causing chaos. And I just think it's really fun to watch. Even if it is, like, not the best choices, my dude, it's really fun. I don't care. So we've talked about some things we did like. You very clearly have a lot of emotions when it comes to how much you like this movie. What are some things you might not have liked about this movie?
That it ended.
Aw.
The end is weird.
The end is weird.
I need something more conclusive than like there's a huge parade that happens and he under some dumb circumstances gets put into a Turbo Man outfit that's going to be on the parade and there's a ridiculous like he's got like jetpacks now and can fly. First of all, there's no way he would be able to master without never using it before. He would have if it was real, 1000% would have died.
Yeah.
He just he like runs into a building and like bumps his head and like vibrate. No, he's dead.
That child is dead too, because the kid's doing all sorts of wild things there as well.
Oh yeah, the last like act again. It's a really fun setting choice. Love that Arnold is dressed up as Turbo Man. Love that Sinbad has the like villain from the beginnings outfit, the Turbo Man's villain with like this big green brain helmet thing.
Yeah, that's fun.
Both look amazing in their costumes. They could even just make a spin-off movie with those two. That would have been great too. But then like he finally gets a Turbo Man doll and gives it to his son and says like, I don't need it, Dad. I have you as Turbo Man's my dad. And just like I love you. And then Arnold gets carried off by the crowd, and it just and just it fades to black, and that's it. And
That's
I
it.
hate it. I hate the way that ends.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's bonkers.
I wish it was a little cleaner, more like, hey, you didn't need to give me this. Sure, I'm just glad that you were trying, or I like your term. I love your term man because I'm a stupid 6-year-old that doesn't understand a costume. Turns out you're actually Turbo Man. Awesome.
Yeah, you really are Turbo Man. I agree that the end location, this like big holiday parade with lots of characters and like costumes and colors, like that is fun. That's a great spot. But there's something that feels so disjointed about the ending that like yeah, like first of all, he gives the toy, which was like the whole purpose, the whole achievement. He gives his son the toy before the big fight with Sinbad over the toy, and that felt like, wait a minute, we should have waited to do that, because now it's just like, are you trying to murder this kid, Sinbad?
Sinbad is absolutely ready to murder this kid to get this toy.
He does not give a shit about this child.
Sinbad goes, it looks like he's going to jail, and I don't like that. I wish there was a happier ending for Myron, because it looks like, I love that he dresses up as the villain. I don't like that he's trying to murder Jake Lloyd's Jamie to like get the doll for his kid.
No.
And then he's definitely arrested by the police and or just like contained. I do like that Jamie is like, you know what, give this Turbo Man to your kid. Thanks.
Yeah, that's
he
sweet.
won't be able to do that behind bars though, which I wish we had come to a better conclusion of, like, I don't know, that Myron found a better, like, oh, they cleared up a little faster.
Yeah.
To not try to murder him.
Don't try to murder the kid. I think there's something really funny about him dressing as the Turbo Man villain, and they're like grown men trying to fight for this toy in those costumes. But like once Jake Lloyd has the toy and he's trying to protect himself and the toy, then it gets a little like, dude, stop trying to murder this child. You are a dad. What are you doing? And then
Christmas.
Capitalism.
Christmas. What can you do?
What can you do? And then I don't like too that like he might be going to jail on Christmas Eve, which is obviously going to be more memorable than the Turbo Man doll this son gets. He's going to be traumatized forever. So like maybe don't have him go that bad that he needs to go to jail. Because the part of me is like, I don't want him to go to jail, but then also like they did sort of have him like aggressively attack a child. So like, I also really do like that Jake Lloyd decides to like give the Turbo Man to Myron's kid. I think that's really sweet. That's very like of the holiday spirit too, where, you know, he just realizes like, I don't like, it'd be cuter though if he realized like, I have my dad with me, like I don't need this toy, I'll get another one later, like here, make your son happy, whatever. Or like if they were even buds, like what if Jake Lloyd and Myron's son are friends and he sees like, oh, this kid's really sad this year, let me give him one, plus your dad's going to jail, let me give you this toy. Like, I don't know. And then also what is very strange is that again, he's getting the toy to make his like wife and son happy and make them feel good about him being there for Christmas Eve. But the last shot is literally, like you said, a mob of people walking him away from his wife and son.
Yay, Arnold.
And he's like, yeah, bye.
I like Phil Hartman a lot.
I do like Phil Hartman.
Their whole movie, he's definitely a scum neighbor. He's like the single dad that everyone mom wants to fuck. Like he's like not an ugly man, but he's not like super like like Brad Pitt attractive. He's no Brad Pitt, but he wants to bang Arnold's wife, and she wasn't having it at the end.
No, who's also played by Rita Wilson.
I think that she should have left Howard for him. He would be there.
Yeah, he's also like, even though he's kind of a creeper to her, he's a really good father. He's such a creeper. Yeah. He's actually like touches her inappropriately a few times.
But he's a really bad person.
Yeah, he's not good, but he's a good dad, and he is always at his kids' karate showcase and loves Christmas.
I think eventually when she leaves Howard in the future, because I don't think they'll stay together.
No,
She'll end up with Ted. He'll be like the rebound for a bit.
totally. He'll help her get out of the marriage, and then she'll realize, like, I don't like you after all. It's really funny because, like, at some point, she straight up is like over Howard's ass after he tries to burn down their neighbor's house. And she's like, bye. And, like, literally is like, hey, Ted, will you give us a ride to the parade? Almost like a fuck you, Arnold. You're not going to hang out with, like, me and your son. I'm leaving your ass. Like, a lot rides on this Turbo Man doll, truly.
All right. Jessica, what do you think of this movie? Do you think this deserves a second chance?
I think so. I think that our age group, especially kids that remember this movie, I think that it definitely deserves a second chance within that range. However, I don't think it really deserves like a first chance with anyone right now. Not because it's like necessarily bad. I just think that it appeals to a very particular demographic. And if you're not in that demographic, I don't think you'll like it. I do not. I can't see you sitting down and enjoying this movie if you're not like millennial aged. It's for a very particular age group because it also, like we said earlier, is sort of a time capsule in that like this specific time and space does not exist anymore.
He uses a payphone at least twice in this.
He sure does. He calls it into a radio station.
To call a radio station, which in 10 years' time may not exist.
You know what? I don't know.
Everyone might switch over to podcasting. Shout out to the fans.
Hey. So yeah, I don't think it's for everyone. I don't think it deserves a second chance with a lot of people. But I think if you're in our age, you remember, if you're a kid of the 90s, absolutely give it a second chance. It's fun.
Yeah, I feel like all the naysayers should be forced to give it a second chance. Fuck you. Stop being so critical of a little charming family movie. It was like designed for like all audiences. There's nothing like overtly crude or violent. Yeah, I guess it has those elements in it if you're really straining for a critique, but like it's just a fun, silly movie about a dad trying his hardest to make his kid happy. Hopefully there's a resurgence in this movie just because like our generation might be pooping some kids out, and so maybe they'll start growing up with it. This is the movie I liked when I was a young kid.
Yeah, I think, Arnold is fun in it. I think that a lot of the criticisms are that Arnold's not good in this. I mean, it's not like he does not do an Othello over here. He's always doing
any Arnold movie, even if it is Othello.
I say, yeah, throw it on this Christmas season. See what you think. Why not?
Yeah, it's streaming somewhere probably.
Well, thank you again for listening to another episode of Second Chance Movies. We'll be back next week with another holiday movie. So, get into the spirit with us. Get into the holiday spirit. Big thank you as always to Beaty McBeatface for making our theme song. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcast. We are also on YouTube if you want a visual medium with us. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. Follow us. Let's talk about movies. Everything and where to find us is in the description box below. Thank you, as always, for listening to another episode of Second Chance Movies.
Put that cookie down!
Second Chance Movies.